News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Hello, La Nina. Welcome back to Missoula. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Monday, January the 9th, 2017. Right now we do have snow, fog, about 4 to 6 inches of fresh powder on the ground. This started late yesterday afternoon and just continued snowing all night. We have 20 degrees in Missoula right now. Needless to say, all the roads around western Montana are snow-covered, snow-packed, and icy, and there is a winter storm warning until 5 o'clock this afternoon. We do have some closures to share with you. It looks like Corvallis schools are closed today due to the inclement weather, and we just received word from Superintendent Jim Howard that Bonner School classes and buses are delayed by 2 hours. Also, avalanche danger has prompted transportation officials to close down U.S. Highway 12 at Lolo Pass. The Idaho Transportation Department closed the pass beginning at 10 o'clock last night. There's no word on how long that will be closed. While the Missoula area is in the grip of a weak La Nina pattern, which has produced copious amounts of snow and even some freezing rain and sleet, leading to a winter storm warning until 5 o'clock this afternoon. Here's meteorologist Travis Booth with the National Weather Service.
In the Missoula area, it's like we generally saw 4 to 6 inches of snow from the late afternoon to the early morning hours this morning. We are expecting more. This morning, anyways, we'll probably see some areas of sleet and light freezing rain mixing with the snow, so probably not a lot of accumulation with the snowfall.
Booth says Missoula emerged from the icebox just long enough to get a healthy dose of snowfall. Then it's back into the icebox yet again.
Looks like it'll stay unsettled at least through Tuesday into Wednesday. Beyond that, it looks to turn fairly dry, but it looks to be fairly cold again also. So we'll have valley lows stack below zero and daytime highs in the single digits and teens.
Booth says the mountain passes received a similar amount of snow, with even more in the Kalispell and Glacier Park areas. Following the triple fatality crash over the holiday weekend between Lolo and Florence, the law in Montana is to drive on the right, pass on the left on 4-lane roads. That's according to Captain Jim Kitchen with the Montana Highway Patrol.
The rules of the road is you need to drive to the right regardless. If it's a 4-lane highway, if you're not passing or something, you should be in the right-hand lane always. The big thing is to just drive defensively, and sometimes things like this occur. Everybody was buckled in, and we were all in shock, too, when we got the call to go down there, so it was just a bad circumstance that happened.
Kitchen said those driving on the right will have a precious few more seconds to react. That just might keep such an accident from occurring again.
You're only about 4 feet from an oncoming vehicle on that highway at 70 miles an hour. If you're in the right-hand lane, you have more of an opportunity to maybe react to somebody that crosses center line. So I suggest everybody drive in the right-hand lane unless you're passing. That's the law. You're supposed to drive to the right when possible.
Kitchen says Highway 93 has various speed limits from Missoula to Hamilton.
That's 70 miles an hour during the day. On 93 south, the speed limit fluctuates. There's some 65 zones in there as well, like Missoula to Lolo. So you should be going the speed limit, of course. And in the wintertime, when the road conditions are not ideal, that you should be slowing down.
Absolutely. Slow down, watch out for the weather, keep your seatbelt buckled, and don't drink and drive. That's the best advice I can give you, Kitchen said, quote. I'll get to that phone call here in just a moment. Extra Highway Patrol troopers are on the road looking for impaired drivers. 36-year-old Benjamin Parsons of Kalispell has been identified as the victim of an avalanche that occurred in Glacier Park last Thursday. Spokeswoman Lauren Alley said the 911 call came in around 3:15 after a skiing companion witnessed the avalanche.
The park received a 911 call from a skier who was up on Mount Stanton, and the caller said that his skiing companion had been caught in an avalanche. We initiated a rescue effort, and in partnership with the Flathead County Sheriff's Department, we launched Two Bear Air, and they were able to go up to the mountain and get the victim down.
The companion that called 911 joined in the search effort, eventually finding Parsons.
His companion was not in the avalanche path, and so was able to make that call. The victim had been hit with the avalanche but was above snow, so that made it possible for his companion to find him. They did have avalanche beacons, and his companion did do a transceiver search, but in the end discovered him by voice.
Parsons was found conscious and able to speak, but died during the rescue attempt. We just received word moments ago from Victor's schools that they are also being delayed by 2 hours because of the snow and the inclement conditions. So again, delays, 2-hour delays with Bonner and Victor, and closure in Corvallis. The Spokane Valley Sheriff's Office has been investigating the murder of Montana Senator John Tester's nephew, Robert, since his brutal slaying on September 6th. Information Officer Deputy Mark Gregory said detectives uncovered an important lead when a friend of the suspect, 22-year-old John Radovich, contacted their office with a startling revelation.
The last week of 2016, detectives investigating Mr. Tester's homicide received information from a friend of Mr. Radovich, who is the person we arrested. That friend had had a phone call from Mr. Radovich where during that phone call he confessed to killing Mr. Tester.
Gregory said the informant was alert enough to provide evidence of the phone call.
He was able to provide us a audio recording of that phone call, and detectives were able to use that in conjunction with the physical evidence that they gained during the investigation, and they were able to get a warrant for his arrest, and they located him and took him into custody safely.
Gregory said detectives are also looking into whether or not Radovich may have had accomplices in the brutal slaying. Gregory also said Radovich has been charged with first-degree murder that in Washington state might also qualify for the death penalty, but that is up to prosecutors. And finally, Montana is facing a labor shortage as workers age. The Missoulian reports about 120,000 residents will retire within the next 10 years. That number outstrips the 80 to 90,000 new workers expected to enter the labor market in the coming decade. Big Sky Economic Development Authority Executive Director Steve Archibald spoke during a recent Montana Chamber of Commerce event. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Freezing rain this morning on top of snow cover, going to make for some nasty driving conditions. Don't go anywhere if you don't have to. We're going to switch back to snow this afternoon with a high of 27. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Montana Severe Weather Alert Team.